Hey family, bear with me while I get my shit together. That's hilarious. Anyway. Well, this is like a postscript because I want to make a correction. In that first video, I mentioned that the United States dollar was pulled out of the basket currencies in first quarter 2024. And in reality, that was a mistake. I misquote that. It was last year in 2023. So it's already been a full calendar year that the United States dollar was removed from the basket currencies. The basket currencies are now the yen, the won, the pound, the pound, the euro, the Swiss franc, and the Swedish krona. Of those six, only two that I'm aware of are sovereign. And I could be even wrong about that. I really don't know what's going on. As far as I'm aware, at least the Swiss franc, but also the Swedish krona. Yeah, okay, so I just want to let you know that no matter what currency you're talking about, even if you're talking about lira and pesos and rubles and rupees and whatever the currency is, it is either a basket currency, meaning it's a debt-based fiat currency controlled by the bank. The value, the interest, the supply, everything's controlled by the central bank. Or it is pegged to one of those debt-based fiat currencies. And as a reminder, that brings me to the next point. I want to say that with regards to all market commodities, not just the currencies, but I'm talking sugar, coffee, wheat, oil, gold, silver, all the precious metals, everything, the value of every fucking thing on this planet in the so-called market is price controlled. It's owned by the majority. He who controls the majority supply gets to call the price for everything. So if you can control the value of the currency, at the same time you can control the commodity price or market price, then this brings me to something that I had not originally planned, or I've been wanting to, let me see if I can do this. I've been wanting to talk about this publicly for a long time. And I tried in early 2020 with some information that got me banned and had my videos erased, and I had less than 6 months and maybe a couple hundred subscribers, not even maybe 100 subscribers. And so I don't want to hear about these guys who post 2 or 3 broadcasts and podcasts every week and still are allowed to talk. So anyway, I was going to mention this. Well, I did mention this in 2020. It was in part 7 of the Corona game. So I'll try to embed it here. It's like a bonus clip. But first I wanted to make that correction. The United States dollar was removed from the list of basket currencies in first quarter 2023. And I want to also caveat boots on the ground, because I'm in a place that has quite a lot of tourists coming from all over the world. And every one of their currencies, whether it's US dollars, Canadian dollars, Australian, New Zealand dollars, euros, everybody's having their currency devalued simultaneously and massively on a trajectory for zero within the next calendar year. In other words, by the end of, or not calendar year, quarter. It would be by the end of the third quarter this year. That's what we're on a trajectory for. The value of $1 is no longer 20, the historical 20 pesos to the dollar. It's now 1 for 1. And that's going to create a huge refugee situation all over the world. While because at the same time that the currencies are being devalued, the market price for the commodities, bread, sugar, coffee, anything that you're going to buy in the grocery store, even your safe stores, whether that be crypto or your gold or your silver or whatever, right? These are not valuable stores of currency. A valuable store of currency is one that we, the people, control. The price, that is, the price, the value, right? The worth. Because it's backed in a commodity, it could be a good, or it could also be a service. But it's based in a good, let's just say good or service that we control, that the controllers do not control. The manipulators in the market do not control, but we control it and we accept it as valuable. So this is not a new idea. This Tumen is not a new idea. The people here been using this since the conquistadors arrived, family. Yeah. Right? So that they could ensure that they could still continue to function and do what they need to do in their lives without having to engage in the systems of the conquistadors, the economic systems in this case of the conquistadors, which they did not trust because they were developed by people that they could not trust. So if you show me a central banker that you feel like you can trust, yeah, good luck with that. So, okay, so here we go. So it's not new. It's not new. This is not my idea. I'm just reminding folks. Check out what is a greenback. And it was a currency that was based in a tangible commodity that we saw had tremendous value, that was widely accepted from no matter what state you happen to be living in, before, and I'm referring back to the so-called Civil War. That war was not about slavery, and if you want to check out more about that, look into my Holiday and Holy Day series. But this one here is about currency, so we know that it was said by one of the controllers, give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who writes its laws. So the governments are just puppets for the central bankers. And I don't know if anybody's been paying attention since 2008, but every single president and prime minister on the entire planet is a former bank employee, central bank employee. So just saying about who you can trust. And also this commodity that we had, it was called hemp, and we used it for everything. Like there's a minimum family of 40,000 Impresa level businesses, or let me put that in English terms. Impresa is like a huge corporate level business, right? Not saying it needs to be run like the typical corporation at all, for sure, but you get my idea, just for size and scale. A minimum of 40,000 of those industries could pop up just around this one plant. Then the cottage industries come off of there. So you're talking about a plant that could provide, let's go from seed, right? Seed to harvest is 6 months. Sometimes less, depending on the climate. And to be clear, I'm not talking about the cannabis plant that people use for the THC purposes. No. Oh, no. I don't want no part of that business. There's no money in that. Not that I'm in it for the money, but I'm just saying if you want to start a business, this would be a business. Oh, wow. So first of all, all the carbon that the reptiles say that they need to remove or sequester. This plant sequesters 2 million tons of carbon for every couple of acres. Not saying we should monocrop, but I'm just saying a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, right? And we can clean the air. Simultaneously, that plant transforms that carbon that it sequestered back into the soil, simultaneously cleaning or restoring the health of the soil at cleaning the air, right? So even if you don't cut the plant down, even if you don't make 500 million different industries with this plant, enough said right there, right? Then it increases the vibration of wherever it's at, because the frequency of this particular plant that was given to us, this particular, I don't even want to call it like a sacred plant medicine. It's because it's way beyond that family. We can replace the entire petrochemical industry for everything that's plastic, everything that requires the destruction, the wholesale destruction of our planet Earth to fuel our antiquated combustion engines and all this other nonsense caveman technology that we're suffering with. It could replace all of that, which then would have knock-on benefits of not further polluting the earth, so that we could devote our attention to cleaning up the toxicity. So before we can clean up the polluted earth, we have to first stop polluting her, right? And harming her and stuff. And anyway, she needs her cranial sacral fluid because she's trying to fix herself back up right, and we can't be just, that's retarded. It's so stupid. Anyway. All right, so I digress, but not only could it replace the entire petrochemical industry in the entire way that we base and fuel our economy now, be that domestically, nationally, locally, or internationally, it's all surrounding around this petrochemical industry. So that's just one industry, right? Then, like, the concrete industry is another massive polluter, and we could retool that industry. I'm not saying we would get rid of it entirely for the moment. It doesn't seem, but maybe one day, right? But for now, baby steps, right? So we could just start using hempcrete whenever we needed to build with concrete, and then we don't have to rip into and blow up the spirits of our ancestors that reside in the mountains. And we don't have to expose all those things that are inside the mountains for a reason, because they're toxic, and leave them in there where they belong. That's Mother Earth's like central nervous system. If you want to, look at all the veins of the nickel and the lead and the copper and the silver and the gold and whatever, leave it. It's buried for a reason. It's not for us to tear it up. There's deleterious effects that comes from that. Oh, I cry because I know some of the people in the villages that have the mining companies come in there, and I've seen the destruction, the beyond off the chart. You can't even describe it in Africa. Right. So that whole industry could be like retooled, and at the same time, knock-on benefits, reduction in pollution and bad frequencies, like really shitty frequencies that keep us stuck in this like dysfunctional state with our caveman technologies. Oh, shit. Patience. But yeah, now we can also, and we already are, like some fuselage of some vehicles I won't disclose for non-disclosure purposes. But there's one of them I didn't sign a non-disclosure with, and that's called BMW. And I actually saw in their plant where they're making part of their vehicle's body out of hemp. It's stronger than the material that even steel. It's better because it's not toxic like steel, right? It's just amazing what you can do with this plant. There's another guy up north in the States, and he's patented, unfortunately. I'm going to try to work on him about that to see if he can share his technology, but we'll figure it out if not. But it took him 3 years, and he figured out a way to make furniture out of not just furniture, but hardwood flooring, tongue and groove only. You can't, because you can't drive a nail through it. It's so hard. It's like 1,000 times harder. Was it 500 or 1,000 times harder, more durable than Brazilian cherry wood, which is a tree that has been wiped out by the furniture industry, just like the mahogany, just like the teak, just like all the hardwood, good long-lasting furniture. We're talking about a piece of furniture that'll last you a couple thousand years, and you don't have to whack down a tree that is of any kind. But, in the cases of the hardwoods, now there's most rules and regulations that say you have to wait for the tree to fall. So you don't have to wait 80, 100, 200, 1,000 years for this tree to fall over. 0 to 6, from seed to harvest is 6 months, sometimes less. And then the production phase, you're talking from A to Z in less than a year. So you're talking about industries of the future that are going to recoup their capital investments and become profitable in less than a year. Do you know that's insane? No business ever does that well. It takes 3 to 5 years on average for the average small business before they even get out of the red. So, but this is the way. When we align ourselves with nature, then we're working with power, the power of our Mother Earth, and the power of the sacred water, and the power of all the spirits of this place that live on this planet, and in this planet, and below the seas, and in the skies above, and all the unseen places, right? And this vibration that it puts out, it affects all of us, like, even before you touch it or make anything with it. So imagine living in a house that surrounds your family in this kind of a vibration, and the potential that that's going to unleash in them to live up to their potential when they're with all this sacred geometry of the frequencies of this plant. No mold, right? It's more pliable, right? So you can make geometric shapes out of it and stuff. So you can build, some beautiful geometric designs and incorporate, all kinds of other esoteric kind of stuff into your homes. And if you want to see more about that, I did a video of my house on my channel. You can check that out. And also, I want to definitely give a shout out to Biophilia, Biophilia. It's my friends Lydia and Arturo, and they, check them out. This is not just a crazy idea. This is a science, right? It's proven. So, and then, we can make our clothing with it, so we don't have to have microplastics, destroying what's left of the lead and mercury and everything else that's inside the fish already that Marvin Gaye was singing about back in the 1970s. Fish full of mercury, already back then. Now they're filled with microplastics. Fuck's sake, family. So yes, we have the free will choice to continue to force and fight against nature, or we have the choice to come back into resonance with the real power on this plane, and that's Mother Earth and the sacred water. And that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. That's a whole nother industry, which I'm just going to leave this little seed with you, family, and then I want you to think about tangible, sovereign currencies backed in goods, services, or commodities that are valuable, raw materials that are valuable. In other words, that can create hundreds of thousands of non-toxic, beautiful things that are in resonance with our Mother Earth and not destroying her. It's time, family. She needs her cranial sacral fluid. She's trying to put herself like this. And she'll shake you off if you need to be shaken off. But don't worry about that. Death ain't no big deal. But I'm just saying, if money should never be our guiding principle, it should never be our primary intention. Our intention should be in alignment with the sacred water and with Mother Earth, and always in consideration of the 7 future generations and what we're creating now, or deciding now we're creating for them in the future, but a more dystopian version of it if we're not careful where we're aligned with. Okay, so, I'm going to leave that with you, family. Think about it as a whole nother industry to replace. I'm going to say this. See how quickly this video gets erased. To replace the system of slavery that we have been living under from every corner of the globe, called the central banks. And if you want to learn some more about that, please check out the work of G. Edward Griffin. And he wrote the book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. And you might want to also check out the original book as written by, I think his name is John Baum. And he wrote the book called The Wizard of Oz. And not the movie. Don't watch the movie. I mean, if you're going to watch the movie, just remember that it was the divine feminine led the 3 masculine without brains, heart, or courage down to face the scary Wizard of Oz. And even then, Dorothy lost her shit, and it was the dog who had the common sense. The dog, Toto, had the common sense while they were standing there pissing themselves. The dog ran up and pulled the cover back, unveiled the Wizard of Oz. He did, indeed. No, gold and silver is not the way, bro. I'm telling you. That's as a postscript to the crypto. Because, if not crypto, then a little gold and silver. No, that's not the way either. Because not since all the gold was confiscated in 1933 in the United States, and not since the so-called Fort Knox was completely emptied out by the early 70s. Obviously, the liquidation began immediately, but it was fully complete by the 1970s. And so he who controls the commodity, remember, controls the price. So if you think you're going to save up your gold and silver coins and cash them in for something of value, well, think again. Tangible. You got to touch it. It can't be digital. Huh? Can't have your service shut off. Can't have your app no longer work with that phone, or you need to answer a whole new set of security questions and spend another 3 hours of your life every week trying to fucking log on. You're stealing your fucking life, family. That's what, when you got your thumbs on this damn keyboard, you need to be aware. Stay tuned. We're going to talk more about the secret military arranged radar technology device later. But for now, you can rest assured there has been some soft disclosure in form of a Hollywood movie called Lucy, And another soft disclosure that I'm aware of was Dr. Sleep and a Spielberg book / movie. And of course, there was this other one called Minority Report with the Tom Cruise guy. I don't remember what year that was, but those movies there was a little soft disclosure about the seeds, about the dystopian future that was being projected into the minds of millions, if not billions of people going back decades. That's why people act so retarded, because they don't have their sacred imagination. They've had it polluted and convoluted and taken over by artificial intelligence. It's holistic intelligence that's needed now. This is the prophecy. It is time. It is the 500-year prophecy, where the eagle and the condor unite. The masculine and the feminine have their last battle. Okay? So you can stay on board a sinking ship, or you can get in alignment with the one and true God, creator of this reality. Natur, N-A-T-R, that was the original name for the God that was higher than all other gods. Natur, N-A-T-R. That's where we get the word nature from. Get in touch with nature, you're going to get in touch with your power. Develop a healthy relationship with her, and she will be the wind in your wings, and all your dreams will come true, from a business perspective as well, from a financial perspective as well. It just, yeah, it's like, I just don't understand. I really don't understand why at this point we continue to want to fight and exert our force and pretend that we can force nature to bend to our will. It's a very infantile perspective, indeed. So, anyhow, having said that, if you're in the spring and the summer of your life and you want to get out there and move and shift and shake, and you want to fulfill your dreams and do something and leave some sort of legacy behind, I'm going to leave that with you. And I'm going to go back to my 369 spiral and all my sacred altars with all my sacred prayers and my sacred imagination to facilitate those who do get out there, move and shift and shake and get motivated to get on board with truly resonant technology of the unseen, the obscured, the occult, the esoteric, all the information that that those who seek your domination and control and slavery have been using against us for millennia. Take it back. So, I'm going to share some more in this regard about how to take back our power, and then, just disclose some basic stuff, and then, well, not disclose it, but help you remember it, family, because this has been part of the human experience but we just forget how quickly we forget. But if we're not in alignment, if we're not parallel with God, or Paradiso, then we're going to get lost. That's just the way it is. Just the way it is. And if the divine feminine is not in alignment in the natural way that it should be, right? Then that which they give birth to in the world is like it's going to be fucked up, because Or let me put it more poetically. I forget which poet said it like this, but he said, "Nary the twain shall meet." If the feminine is dominating the male, which is the case in the Kali Yuga, right? It's coming towards the end of Kali Yuga. So, nary the twain shall meet. And you'll just run off and waste your time and effort and money and talent. I just don't know why anybody would want to make it that hard. But anyway, that's just me. So yeah, all kinds of industries available. Take your pick. Health, medical, food, clothing, textiles, no more cutting down the trees. Did I mention we don't have to cut down the sacred trees anymore, which we need to create this exchange so that we can breathe properly, and the trees are the tree of life. Yeah, it should be respected, not wholesale slaughtered, right? Okay, so yeah, no more cutting down trees, no more blowing up the mountains. I mean, can you imagine a world? I like that. I like that dream. Because I dream what I dream now, and what I do now is it affects the 7 future generations. Blessed is she whose womb is barren, for her children are many. Ahom takiase, for all my relations, gracias. Thank you for listening. And stay tuned. So much more cool stuff coming. So, ciao for now, family. Bye.